In the year 2003, California held its first and only governor recall election. A recall election only occurs when at least 12% of the state's citizens sign a petition for the recall of their current governor, meaning the people of California were not happy with the performance of then Governor Gary Davis. Under his governing, California faced an energy crisis that caused multiple large-scale blackouts, a downfall of one of the state's largest energy companies, and a financial burden on the state, which the Public Policy Institute of California estimated to be around $40 to $50 billion. California was in need of a new leader, someone who could bring the state out of the dark, a hero to save the day. Who better fit to play this role than world-class bodybuilder and Hollywood superstar Arnold Schwarzenegger? You may be thinking, wouldn't a lieutenant governor, or I don't know, a state senator, or a political activist be better suited to be the governor of California rather than Hollywood's highest paid actor? And there's a good chance that the answer is yes. They may have been better suited for the role, but that's not who the people of California voted for. They voted for someone who made it very clear throughout their campaign that they were going to make the necessary changes to bring California back to a state of pride and prosperity. They voted for the Terminator. And I would argue that Arnold Schwarzenegger used communication strategies found within the challenger campaigning style to win the California governor recall election in 2003. Let's start off by explaining what are campaigning styles. Well, they're essentially a collection of strategies politicians use to either A, maintain their current role in office, which they tend to use the incumbent campaigning style, or B, attain a desired role in office, which they tend to use the challenger campaigning style. And I believe this is the style Schwarzenegger successfully used throughout his campaign, and for that reason, this will be the style I primarily focus on through this talk. The textbook Political Campaign Communication Principles and Practices, aka our class textbook, defines the challenger campaign style as a series of communication strategies designed to persuade voters that change is needed and that the challenger is the best person to bring about the change. Many past and current politicians have used this campaigning strategy to help attain their spot in office, such as JFK's campaign of Get the Country Moving Again, Barack Obama's Yes We Can campaign, and even more recently, Donald Trump's Make America Great Again campaign. They all present the idea that change is needed and change is possible through voting for said candidate. There are many different strategies used to fit within this campaign style, but I want to focus specifically on three strategies I found Arnold Schwarzenegger used in his campaign through either interviews, debates, speeches, or public interactions. First, attacking the record. Second, the call for change. And third, emphasizing optimism for the future. So without a further ado, let's talk about the governor's campaign strategy. Number one, the first strategy within the challenger style I believe Schwarzenegger used, attacking the record. The communication used within this strategy is exactly what the name would suggest. You attack either your opposition or the current government as a whole. And the objective of this strategy is to create doubt in the voters' minds regarding the incumbent/opponent's ability. And it's pretty easy for Schwarzenegger to do this because of how poorly the prior governor performed and how he was actually going through a current recall. This is the first strategy Schwarzenegger uses throughout his campaign, and we can see it being used in his late night talk show interview with Jay Leno.
He is failing them terribly, and this is why he needs to be recalled. And this is why I'm going to run for governor of the state of California.
It's quite evident that he is using the attacking opposition strategy. The verbiage he uses, he's failing them miserably. This is why he needs to be recalled. This is why I'm running for governor. He's stating that a large reason why he's running for governor is because of the poor performance of the opposition. And what is he doing? Attacking the opposition. And it also never hurts to use your popular tagline to express this idea.
Hasta la vista, baby.
The second strategy within the challenger campaign style I believe Schwarzenegger used was the call for change. As the name suggests, the strategy focuses on pushing the idea that change is necessary. I think the use of this strategy was very tasteful by Schwarzenegger because of the current status of the state. The prior governor had failed the people miserably, and the people craved change. Heck, the prior governor made the people reach a point where they had to have their first ever recall election. The then current state of California was that bad, and it was that obvious they wanted change, so Arnold addressed it. A really great example of him using this strategy was a commercial he ran during his campaign, aptly titled, "Let's Bring California Back."
I'm running for governor to lead a movement for change and give California back its future. I stand for fiscally responsible government, rebuilding California's economic engine, putting the needs of children first, and reforming our political system so that the public interest comes before special interests. I want to be the people's governor. I will work honestly, without fear or favor, to do what is right for all Californians.
Join Arnold and let's bring California back.
We can clearly see the central idea through this commercial is that change is needed. I'm leading a movement of change and giving back California its future. He addresses that change is needed and then gives examples of how he's going to implement change, which further builds his validity and credibility as a candidate. Nice job, Arnold. The third strategy within the challenger style I believe Schwarzenegger used was emphasizing optimism for the future. The course textbook has a truly lovely definition for this strategy, and I'd be remiss if I omitted it. The task of the challenger is not only to attack, but to hold out the promise of a better tomorrow, a day when wrongs will be righted, when justice will prevail, and when health, wealth, and happiness will be more than just vague illusions. And a fantastic way I saw Arnold Schwarzenegger communicate this idea of holding out for a better tomorrow was at a publicity event for his campaign.
There were times where people said it can never be done, that an Austrian farm boy can come over to America and get into the movie business and be successful in the movie business. They said we cannot pronounce your name, you cannot speak English well, and your body is overdeveloped. And you know what happened? I became the highest paid entertainer in the world, okay? We want to make jobs available, quality jobs for every Californian. The second most important thing is our children. You all know that I'm very passionate about children's issues. I've been involved in education and after-school programs for the last 10 years. I've led a crusade about after-school programs through the United States. So I think it is very important that our children have the first access to our state treasury and get the money so they can have great schools and great education.
What made this clip stand out to me is how he tells the story of a challenger, if you will. Someone who's been constantly told no, that they didn't deserve better, that they weren't good enough, but against all odds they prevailed. I think that's the exact story the people of California needed to hear. The current leadership and government of California failed them, and the people needed a leader who can be successful against all odds and lead the state to a better and brighter future. He then takes the idea of a better future a step further by using specificity in his objectives. He sees a better California with more jobs and better funding for children's education, an idea and message people will get behind. He constructs this message that there is a brighter future for the people of California, and he has what it takes to help get the state there. Throughout Schwarzenegger's campaign, it's clear to see that he used the challenger campaigning style, and he specifically used three central strategies found within the style. First, attacking the record. Two, calling for change. And three, emphasizing optimism for the future. I can't help but think the specific strategies he chose almost parallels the story structure of many of the action movies he starred in. Now hear me out. Let's say this group of people are going through a period where their lives are becoming darker, their futures are growing bleaker, and their current leadership is doing anything but making the situation better. Eventually, one of the individuals grows weary of the system and fights back for the people. He denounces the current leadership and implements his own plan to save the day. Against all odds, he's able to fight and win the battle for the people, which allows him to lead this group to a future of happiness and prosperity. He then vows that he'll do whatever it takes to ensure that the group will never have to worry about darker days again. Seems a little familiar, right? I don't think it's by coincidence that Schwarzenegger's campaign message told the story that change is needed and that he is the best person to bring about the change. California was in need of a new leader, someone who could bring the state out of the dark, a hero to save the day. Who better fit to play this role than world-class bodybuilder and Hollywood superstar Arnold Schwarzenegger? Thank you.